Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Shots of a Trucker John Livestream, on a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. The Trucker John Livestream is gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hash your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit, hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Oh yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch him out, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. All right. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. Let's see. Test. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. There it is. There's a delay. All right, guys. I had the phone on the charger as long as I could because I wasn't able to get fully charged. Good morning, though. It is 11:13 a.m. Pacific Time Zone here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. We are currently sitting at a temperature of 88 degrees. 89 degrees. Currently 89. I guess we're supposed to get to a high of 90, only 93. This might be our last cool day in a long time. We're supposed to be back into triple digits tomorrow and for the foreseeable future. So I have really been enjoying this cool weather because at least when it's 95 during the day, it cools off to like 65 or 70 at the coolest time. And even in the evenings, it's in the 80s and 70s, and it's really nice. So I'm really enjoying that while I can. But thanks everybody for being here. A quick hello. Let's see. I see Aaron was first. Mad Mac, Slava Ukraini was second. Brooklyn, SJU, is third. Got AM here. Carrie C. Josh is here in the lounge. Sandy Foltz. Hey, Sandy. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Mad Max second. I'm always the first to lose. Josh says it's 95 on his porch. So anyhow, before I go down further into the chat there, just kind of go over my morning real quick. And for those of you, I know a lot of you all know the story, but maybe I'll kind of repeat it a little bit. Last fall, I ran into some financial issues. I lost an income source, and I got behind in my rent. I never could get caught up. I eventually got evicted. That was way back when this all started happening. Was like in December, right? And I found out, through searching on the internet, there are programs, social programs that can help people who are being evicted. They have a thing called the Eviction Prevention Program. So I signed up for it. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. I was always in waiting mode. My case was always pending, and so I eventually ran out of time, and I got evicted from my apartment, which is literally right next door. There's that apartment complex. There's the gully that I always talk about. It's a big wash. It's mainly just dirt. A lot of homeless people live there. And then there's this place where I'm at now, the Seagull Suites, which is like an extended stay. It's more like a hotel, but there are people that, like me, that just live here semi-permanently because they take people. They don't check for evictions and shit like that. They'll pretty much take anybody. They do run your license. I think maybe just to make sure you're not wanted for murder someplace or something. But other than that, they seem to take everyone. So that's where I've been since March 28th because I got evicted. I guess it was March 28th was my last day there. And I just came right over here just so I'd have a roof over my head and not be in the gully. That was my number one goal, was to stay out of the gully. Okay, but I was still enrolled in this eviction prevention program, even though I got evicted. And then they have a thing called a relocation program, right? So I guess I switched from being eviction prevention into relocation. And I've still been waiting for a caseworker, in the meantime, I was looking for apartments. And I finally found a place that would take me with my eviction. And that was a whole process. If you guys remember, I filled out the application. Then the lady, the leasing office kept going back and forth. I need this, and I would give it to her, and then she would say, I need, like, she acted like I didn't even give it to her. But finally, that all got worked out. And about 10 days ago, I guess, a week and a half, she called me, or I called her, I don't know, but she said, "You're approved. We got good news. Your application, I sent it up to HQ or whatever, and you're approved." And I'm like, great. And she knows about this program that I'm on. So but I always have to remind her because I know people have their own lives and they've got a million things. They don't remember, my life. So anyhow, I just tell her, okay, you remember I'm on this program with social services, Clark County, and she goes, yeah, I'm aware. And I go, I'm still waiting to get a caseworker assigned to me. And she said, okay, well, it's a first come, first served basis, but she goes, if that unit that you're interested in, if it does get rented, she goes, I have others that'll come up, and you're still good as far as like you're being approved and stuff. So I said, cool. So then, as soon as I was approved, I called back social services because they told me that as soon as I get it approved someplace to call them, and they would assign me a caseworker. So I called. That was like 10 days ago or a week and a half. And I said, yeah, I got a place. I'm in. I got approved. And they said, great. Okay, so now just wait. A caseworker will be getting back to you probably next week. So this was week before last. So I was expecting a caseworker to get a hold of me sometime last week. Caseworker never got a hold of me. So it was Friday. I thought, well, no one ever got a hold of me, and maybe I should call and just see what's up. So I called the social services office, that's specific to my thing, the relocation, whatever. And then I spoke to someone, and when you call there, it's really just sort of like a receptionist or something. But she was pretty knowledgeable, pretty nice, and she listened to my thing. I said, yeah, I got approved. They said I would get a caseworker. Should be calling me. That was last week, but I never heard anything. And she said, well, actually, they have. I think she said they have 14 days to get a hold of you. And she said, so if you haven't heard anything yet, you'll definitely hear something next week, which would be this week, right? So I said, okay, cool. So then yesterday, which was Monday, I did get an email from my caseworker. And she said, I am so-and-so, it's got all her name. Her title is Relocation Specialist. And I'll get to that in a minute. Relocation Specialist. That's her title. It has all her contact information. And she said, she just asked me some questions. Like, have I been approved for an apartment? And do I have a job? So I just responded and I said, yes, I have an apartment. I gave her all that contact information for the name of the apartment, the phone number, the leasing office, the email. I gave her all that. And I told her that I work at a taxi company. So then today here where I'm at Sigel Suites, my rent is due because I pay weekly. And so I was like, I don't know if I want to pay for another week. I don't know how long this process is going to take. What if she approves me today, at the social services? And what if I can move into that other apartment like today? So I don't want to pay for another week. So I called my caseworker because I had her number, and it went right to her desk. She picked up the phone, and I said, "Hey, I'm John Fowler, and I'm just recently your case has just been I've just been assigned. You've been assigned to me or whatever." And she goes, yeah, okay. And so I said, well, so I go, where I'm at, I go, right now I'm staying at Sigel Suites, and I have to pay rent today. And I just wanted to know, like, how long might this take? Like, should I pay for another week, or is this, or what? And then she said, oh, you've already got a place? And I'm like, I go, well, this is Sigel Suites. This is like a hotel. This isn't like a regular apartment. And she goes, oh, well, you've already found a place. So this is the relocation program. You've already been relocated. So you're not eligible. You've already relocated yourself. And I was like, wait a minute. I've been told, I've been calling you guys for months and months now. And I was assured, and I told them that this is where I'm at. And they told me that this didn't count as a regular apartment. And she said, oh no, you have relocated. And I go, look, I was evicted on March 28th. I go, I had to find a place to keep a roof over my head. She goes, I understand that, but you're not eligible. And so I just go, look, I've been talking, and I take notes, and I started listing names. I go, here's all the people I've talked to, blah 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 blah, and they told me that I was still eligible for this relocation program, and that this extended stay place is not a regular apartment. This does not count. And she said, okay, she goes, hang on a minute, let me talk to my supervisor or whatever. So she goes off, she leaves me on hold for a few minutes, for like 5 minutes. And I was looking at her email she sent me. Under her name, it says relocation specialist. Okay. So she comes back and she said, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're still okay. You're still eligible. And I just go, thank God. I go, that's great news. I was just really happy. I go, you don't know how happy that makes me, because I need this. Otherwise, I'll be stuck here paying $400, over $400 a week. She said, yeah, you're eligible. So she said, okay, I'm going to send you over an email with a checklist of stuff or something. So I haven't checked my email yet, but that's what I was doing this morning. That's why I was a little bit late getting this thing started for today's show. But so apparently I'm still in, and I'm happy about that. But it just kind of pissed me off because she's a relocation specialist. Now, maybe she's new on the job, maybe she just started, but her title is relocation specialist. And it seems to me that she should have fucking known that where I'm at is not considered a normal, like regular apartment, and it doesn't invalidate my application. So that kind of pissed me off. But anyhow, good news is I'm still in. So what I did. So I went ahead and paid my rent because I figure it's probably going to be at least another week. Even because she's sending me another thing I got to fill out, and I got to get it back to her, and then who knows how long this is going to take. But I wanted to know before I went and paid. I wanted to know exactly what was going on. So then I ran down, paid the rent. Grabbed a breakfast burrito at Jack in the Box, came back, and then got set up for the show. So that's why I was a little bit late today on there. So that's the continuing saga of my getting an apartment. So now you guys are all updated. All right, continuing on with the chat. Yeah, we got Carrie C is here. Good to see Carrie. Thanks for being here in the driver's lounge. Mad Mac, nice 10-wheeler TJ. Well, yeah, but my tractor. I don't own it. I bought that. I ended up owning it free and clear, and then I sold it. Yeah, after I bought it brand new. I had it for 8 years. I put 880,000 miles on it in 8 years. So that was over 100,000 miles a year I was doing. Well over 100,000. Let's see. AM says, I hope you were okay with this weather last night. Oh, talking to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, man, how are you? Are you still hugging the ice cube bags? I guess you're not getting your AC until Friday, right? Oh, oof. Stay cool. Try to stay cool out there, Mr. Bob Newell. I can't hear you. We do have a goal going. You guys see the goal? A little bit of a goal. Golf Marine's here. Hey, Golf Marine, good to see you. Haven't seen Golf Marine in a while. Thanks for jumping on in. Elizabeth Fernandez is here. Hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. We are at a slight thumbs up deficit. So if you haven't hit the thumbs up button yet, please do. Aaron says it's 99 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Whenever I hear Raleigh, North Carolina, I always think of the gunnery sergeant, but they call him Gunny, who was one of the like military advisors on the Planet of the Apes movie I was in 2001, and his name was Raleigh. So whenever I hear Raleigh, North Carolina, I always think of old Gunny. Mad Max says it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Are you near Seattle area? I think maybe. I don't know. William says 100 degrees in Philly. That doesn't include the humidity. That must be a steam room. Mr. Bob Newell, always with the silly questions, says, would you eat scrambled eggs cooked on a hot sidewalk? If I was starving to death, I probably would. Hey, you'll do a lot of things if you're starving to death. You'd eat a lot of things that you might not normally eat. AM says it's 97 where they're at 2:14 p.m. Sandy Folds, TJ, how's things going with the new place? Well, I did just explain all that. Hopefully you heard all that. What's going on? Michael McAndrews, we don't want you in the gully, John. Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of the gully. That's my objective. My number one objective is to stay out of the gully. Mr. Spock's here. Live long and prosper to Mr. Spock. Good to see you. Hope your chickens are okay and all that kind of stuff. Roxanne Epstein's here. Hello, Roxanne. Good to see you. Mad Max says, "Sound like you got a slacker, dumbass caseworker." I wouldn't be quite that harsh on her. I think, maybe she like. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm just glad that I was being very respectful and professional. I wasn't, getting, I didn't yell at her or anything like that. But I did have a sort of a stern voice, and I had my notes to back me up. And if not for that, she might not have said, "Okay, let me go talk to my supervisor." And thank God the supervisor set her straight. Because from day one, I came here and I told them, and they said, "Yeah, that you're still eligible." Kelly, hey, Kelly's here. Good to see Kelly. Kelly says, "You're a white guy. You ain't getting help from nowhere. If you was illegal of a certain tone, then yes." Well, I'm getting help. I'm a white guy. Apparently, I guess I guess we'll see. It's not. You know, it hasn't been finalized yet, so. But I think if you look up stats as far as like if you look at I don't even know what you would look under like general welfare programs, assistance programs. I would be willing to bet that the majority of the people that are on assistance of some sort are white. All right, just to set that. What are we setting it? Set that to rest, maybe. That sort of racist kind of argument there. Josh, is that what they call ICE agents, relocation specialists? Yeah, that sounds like it would be a euphemism for that. Non-useful. Johnny, now jump through the hoop, roll over, play dead. Okay, you're still on the list. Hey, I'm not, like I said, I'm just happy that she said, okay, you're still in, and you're still eligible. And I was very nice and respectful. I said, "Oh, thank you so much. That's great news." I thanked her for her help. I said, "Thank you so much for your help and for checking that out for me. I'm not going to be a dick to her. Non-useful says my caseworker covers 13 counties alone in Missouri. Yeah, there's a lot of these workers are really overworked. They're understaffed and overworked. AM says, John, TJ, this is frustrating. So sorry. This is so typical government programs. You should complain. Thank God you insisted. They have a big backlog because I remember when I filed and I started calling, even in I think even in February, but before I got evicted, the person I spoke with on the phone said they're still handing cases, new cases to caseworkers from people who filed I don't know. She said some date like August or something, and I was like, what? So there was a big, backlog. Michael McAndrews with a $5 super sticker. Thank you, Michael. Yippee! To the goal. I do. I'm just now getting to it. So thank you so much, Michael. Help support the show. Help keep us going. Keep us out of the gully. Sandy Foles says today is the primary voting for the government. Yes. And I'm really hoping, and I wish I memorized the guy's name. Maybe you guys in the chat can help me. It's the one that AOC is backing. I've seen a few videos of the guy, some of his campaign videos, and he looks. And I've seen. If you guys ever watch Riverboat Jack, she's been showing a lot of coverage on this guy, and he seems to be a really wonderful candidate for mayor, right, of New York. Is it mayor, right? Of New York, not governor, but mayor, right? And I think he would be a hell of a lot better choice than Cuomo, whatever the fuck is it. I mean, they already bounce his ass out for being a fucking predator, basically, harassing women. So I don't see why Cuomo would even the balls on this guy to even think he could run again. They chased his ass out once. So anyhow, this guy in the chat, maybe you guys can look it up, put his name in there. AOC is backing him. I can't remember his name, but he seems like a really wonderful candidate, and I hope he wins. Even though I'm on the other side of the country, what the fuck do I care about who's the mayor of New York, actually, when it comes right down to it? But it does matter because I like to see good people win these offices, and that is a pretty big office, Let's see. So Marsha's here. Hey, Marsha, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Good to see Marsha. Non-useful cooked an egg on the hood of a 1974 Pinto wagon. I think I did that at one time. Certain times, I think I've just to do it when it was so hot. I think I fried an egg on a sidewalk once. I don't think I did it on the car. I didn't want to fuck my car up. I'm pretty sure I did it on the sidewalk. It was so freaking hot. It fried up the egg. I did not eat the egg, though. Probably some animal got it. I think I threw it in the gutter or something. I don't know. Michael McAndrews says, I'm calmed down now. Ever try to help your wife cast a movie from a laptop to the TV when it is impossible to do? And also use a new program to create your video that doesn't write out to DVD. I've never tried any of that, but it sounds very frustrating. I have tried to do on my TV, which you're supposed to be able to do that. I have tried to cast stuff from my phone or even my iPad to my TV. And the frustrating part about it is that I've done it in the past, but then I tried to do it again and I couldn't figure out how to do it, or something changed on the devices. And so that's the frustrating thing is I know that my TV has the functionality to do that, and I've done it, but then I tried to do it again, and I couldn't. I couldn't do it again. So I don't know. That's the frustrating thing for me. Non-useful. I use tripods to produce my porno movies. Well, that's the way to do it. Get some good production value there. So the nice steady cam, you know. Kelly says I was homeless with cancer, and everyone said no. You mean a country that is predominantly white? Well, I'm sorry you were turned down when you needed that help, Kelly. But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to say that just because I'm white, I'm going to get turned down. I just don't think that's true. I don't think color has anything to do with it. Maybe I'm naive. I don't know. You know, Sammy Carter from London, all the way from London. Cheerio, London. Hello, Sammy. Thanks so much for being here. I know I'm horrible. You're probably like, what is he doing? Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you. All the way from across the pond, as we like to say. Um, Non-Musa says, why would she say you're not eligible in the first place? It's almost like she's brushing you off. How many folks has she done that before? Yeah, and lost everything. I don't know. I guess that's a good question. But I have to say I was kind of shocked when she said that, because every phone call, I've made dozens of phone calls in the last, maybe not dozens, I don't know, but at least a dozen probably in the last few months, touching bases, making sure my paperwork was in, everything was, that I was good on my end, and they said, yeah, everything's good, just call back as soon as you get an apartment. And so I was always told that, everything on my end was good. And then all of a sudden she's like, oh no, you're not eligible. That did, like, I was like, what? Are you are you kidding me? I was like, what are you kidding me? I went all Brooklyn on her ass. No, I didn't, but what are you kidding me? What do you mean I'm not what do you mean I'm not eligible? And she's like, this dude must be from Brooklyn. Huh? I'm not messing with him. Hey, Jolie's here. Hey, Jolie, thanks for coming on in. I believe we are now at full mod capacity. So you guys better watch out in there. Michael McAndrews says, apparently my TV only works with Apple or iOS devices. So my wife's laptop running Windows did not connect to the TV until I used HDMI. Non-Musa says, why did Trump blow up Iran's nuclear program? A large percentage of his base are upset. Trump's actions are set back the return of Christ. Evangelicals want war. I don't know about that. I think a large percentage of his base are upset because he told them he was the no war president. Sammy Carter says it's 7:38 in cheery old London. So I think we're about 8 hours difference, 8 hours apart in time, if my math is correct. Sandy Fulton says the mayor for Buffalo is running to replace, is it Brian Brown? Brian Brown? Okay, I don't know anything about those candidates. Hopefully the best person will win. Kelly says, I'm a white guy. You'll see. All right, well. I would like to think that if I do get turned down for some reason, it's not. It has nothing to do with color. TJ, did you go grocery shopping yet? Not yet. Not yet. Brooke Leslie says, tell that specialist that you're friends with me. That's right. I'm going to go, hey, I'm friends with Brooklyn. Don't mess with Brooklyn. Um, Robert Nicholas says, if Taco can pay point stars, porn stars. I'll do a little editing here. If Taco can pay porn stars, cheat on 3 wives, say, I don't know, grab by hoo ha, you know, grab the hoo ha, but Cuomo can run for mayor. Okay, well, that's true. I mean, I guess that's a good point. I just don't think Cuomo is any good. I don't like him. I think he's a dirtbag. No one got that name for me yet. Do I have to do this myself? Kelly says, Marsha, my point is white men are expected to foot the bill for everyone. Marsha says, are you saying black and brown people get into programs faster than white people? My home health aides are Hispanic and can't get health care for their children. There it is, Josh. Mamdani. Thank you, Josh. I'm going to look him up anyhow. Zoran Mamdani. Here is I don't know, this is just what came up. I don't think this is, I don't know if this is wiki, I don't know if this is AI or what, but it says Zoran Mamdani is a New York State Assembly member and a Democratic Socialist running for mayor, born in Uganda and raised in New York City. He's 33 years old. He is a member of the Democratic Party. So even though it says he's a Democratic Socialist, he is a member of the Democratic Party. According to, I don't even know what source this is. I just Googled it. I don't know if that's, because it doesn't really say, you know. I mean, this is, I guess that's just for the Zoran for NYC. This first part, that's from his page. Anyhow, top stories from The Guardian. New Yorkers vote in mayoral primary as polls show Mamdani leading Cuomo. I think that's good news because Cuomo, your time is done, in my opinion. Okay, maybe you did some good things as mayor. I know the Cuomo family name is a big name. His dad was former mayor and all that kind of shit. But I think there comes a time when you need to move on, and we need new fresh blood. So this guy's 31. He's a Democratic Socialist. I've heard a lot of his campaign promises or what he would do, his goals, and they sound really good to me. So USA Today, that was leading the polls. That was The Guardian. I guess an hour ago from New York Times, it says the New York mayoral primary live updates. New Yorkers head to polls in tight race between Cuomo and Mamdani. Mom Donnie. Um, Wikipedia did an update 3 hours ago, I guess. I think it just has the stuff that I just read. Whoops. Um, I didn't mean to do that. I just clicked on a video from Democracy Now! With Amy, what's her face? I guess she was interviewing. I guess she interviewed him. I can't really play clips. I don't have the ability to play clips on my. Actually, I do. I mean, I could just as a way of experimenting, just to see how things are going. I have played clips on here before because I'm doing everything from a little app. This isn't like when you see Boston Brian, who's on right now. Hello, Boston! Shout out to Boston Brian, or Liberal Dan, or even Hal, or anybody. You know, they have a computer and they're running off a program. You know, where they can load clips and they can show them up. I'm doing this off of an app, just so you know, because I know not everyone knows what I'm doing. It's just a little app, and it's very kind of limited on what I can do. And so I could get a clip, and I could put that in my little studio that they have, and I could play the clip, kind of like what I did yesterday. If you were watching, at the very, 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 very end of the show, I played that clip of me from about 1990 when I worked for the Postal Service, looking very slim and fit. So I could play a clip, but it is kind of a bit of an undertaking. And I remember playing a clip before, like a long, long time ago. I think I played like a clip from something, and the volume was really low, and I don't have any way of controlling the volume on here either. Like on these other programs that people run, they have little sliders, and they can do the volume up and down, but I can't do that. The volume is whatever the volume is. It's whatever, however loud I can shout into this microphone. And when I play a clip, it's whatever it is. I have no control over the volume. Anyhow, maybe someday I'll have my shit together. I wouldn't mind playing a clip of this Mendami guy right now. But since I don't have anything queued up, it would be a big deal. But thanks, Josh, for getting that name, Mendani. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right, but I hope he wins. I think that would be refreshing, to have him. I don't think he's horrible. He's young. He's already a state assembly member. He's backed by AOC and Bernie Sanders, of which I am a huge fan of both of those folks. So if you're in the New York area, Brooklyn, I'm looking at you. If you're, do you vote for New York? Because Brooklyn is like a, what do they call it? It's a borough. So I guess it's a part of New York City. Is it part of New York City? Do you vote for? Are you able to vote for? Are you eligible to vote for the New York City mayor? And if so, you don't have to tell me who you're voting for. I know that's a matter of privacy, but if you want to talk about that, I think that would be interesting. Anyone who's from New York or in New York City, that would be interesting. And even Sandy, who's upstate, if you want to talk about your mayors there, the mayoral race there, I'm interested in finding out, about other parts of the country and what's going on. Yeah, Zoran Mandami, Josh says. AM says it looks like Mandani is leading the race ahead of Cuomo. Now we're very early, right? This is the early. It's today's the vote, so I mean it's only not even 3 o'clock there yet. So we're very, very early. But I'm rooting for Mamdani. Non-useless says Vice President Vance is already setting the narrative. If any sleeper cells in Iran terrorize the USA, we will blame Biden for his open borders. So lame. It's always going to be Biden's fault. Anything that's bad, it's always going to be Biden's fault. They will never take responsibility for anything because they're cowards. Trump and Vance and all of them, they're all a bunch of cowards, and they will not take responsibility for one goddamn thing that's bad. Sammy Carter says he's amazing. I think you're talking about Mandami or me. Michael McAndrews made the best person win. Kelly, he wants Sharia law. Kelly. I'm going to put that as a strike. I won't count the other stuff as a strike. I'm going to count that as a strike one. If you continue to put out like false information and lies, unless you can prove and verify that that's true, but I don't think that's the case. I don't think he wants Sharia law. I think that's a very racist statement that you're making. And I'm not going to stand for false. If you have a different point of view and a different perspective and you don't agree with me, that's fine. But if you're going to put out lies and racist bullshit, that's a really good way to get kicked out. Yeah, Marcia says, Kelly, please stop with poor white man stuff. If the uber rich and corporation paid higher taxes instead of buying 4 mansions and 3 yachts, we'd all be better off. Kelly says, I heard him say it. I can't remember where. And New York deserves everything they get, so didn't really pay attention. Well, Kelly is just a really, I don't know, pissed off white dude or something. I don't know. Robert Nicholas says, sorry, got here late. Did you see Taco drop the F-bomb on the news this morning? I didn't see it. I was listening to a little tail end of Tom Hartman today this morning. Or is it Tom Hartman or maybe Stephanie Miller? I don't know. Maybe both. Because I was sort of waking up and in and out of waking up and sleeping, and I turned the TV on. And I heard him somebody mentioned that Trump had dropped the F-bomb. But I haven't seen it. Josh says, I'm a poor white man. Never occurred to me that my gender or skin tone had anything to do with my success or lack thereof. Now, I will admit there is prejudice and there is racism and there is inequality, and that's why we had to have an equal rights movement and equal rights laws in the '60s. I mean, there are verifiable things about what do they call it, blue lining or whatever, red lining, and all that kind of stuff. So don't get me wrong, there is racism that goes on and against people of color mainly. And then, of course, a butthurt white guy will try to claim like reverse racism just because they didn't get something or that they wanted. I don't know. Yeah, Kelly, affirmative action was total. I can see where you're at, Kelly. I'm just interested. I'm just curious. Now, again, this is your private business. You don't have to tell me. But did you vote for Trump? You sound like a Trump voter to me. Sammy Carter, I agree. Separation of church and state. Being an atheist myself, but he hasn't asked for Sharia law. Hey, One Vision, good to see you. Thanks for coming on into the driver's lounge. One Vision says, well, trucker, my John. Richard, watching all the way from Australia. 4:54 a.m. Well, good morning to you, Richard. Hope you're having a nice morning. What time does the sun come up over there where you're at? Just curious. I'm just curious if you're still sitting in the dark or if the sun's going to come up anytime soon or what. Jen Up the Bass is here. My favorite Giants fan. Jen Up the Bass says, greetings, TJ, and friends in the lounge. TJ, I said some very complimentary things about the Dodgers the other day in rejecting ice from Chavez Ravine. Didn't I acknowledge that? Or did I not acknowledge that? Caitlin Kyle is here. Hey, Caitlin, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the Driver's Lounge. Says, I get the feeling that the Democrats are just meant to stop the people from getting socialism. Let me think about that. I get the feeling that Democrats are just meant to stop people from getting socialism. If by socialism, are you talking about social programs like social safety net programs? Like SNAP and Medicare and Medicaid and things of this nature, welfare, whatever. Because if that's what you're talking about, I think it's the Democrats that are always trying to end those programs. And then Caitlin says, and the Republicans, just the obvious bad guys. Well, they are obvious bad guys. They're the ones that want to take away Medicare and Social Security and any other social safety net program. They want to end all that shit. And basically why? Because they've got some tax cuts for the ultra rich people that they got to pay for. They got to make up for. I'm just laughing at what Kelly said. Aaron, what do you call it? Blocked it or whatever. Because Kelly called me a certain name that I've been called my whole life, so it doesn't really affect me. It just makes me laugh. Anyhow, Jen Up the Base says, Trucker John, as it turns out, I was wrong. The Dodgers are apparently full of shit, and we're trying to capitalize on something to pander to the fan base. Shameful, classic Dodgers, go Giants. So I don't know. I haven't heard the latest. What, now they're letting him in now? Is that weird? Because I have not heard the latest on that. Or I don't know what your beef is. So well, I was reading something and it just sort of jumped. Oh, here we go. Non-useful said Republican representatives ectopic pregnancy clashes with Florida abortion law cat Kamek. I don't know who that is. Blames left's fear mongering after medical staff hesitated to give her drugs needed to end pregnancy. Is that her? That's the name, Lawcat Kamek? Or is that some sort of typo, graphical error? Because I don't know. Anyhow, well then that's Florida. That's Florida for you. I feel like my AC is not working all of a sudden. It's getting a little warm in here. Michael McAndrews says, when I was a kid, they still had some white-only signs in the South. Sick stuff. Yeah, so we had to have legislation passed to end that kind of shit. Michael McAndrews says the KKKers and Nazis did not like our affirmative action and DEI. No, they don't like that because they're a bunch of racist pricks. Music says much less racism nowadays than 20 years ago. 20 years ago to me, that doesn't seem very long ago. That's only, to me, 20 years ago, that's what, 2005? To me, that seems like yesterday, you know? Anyhow, it says, much less racism nowadays than 20 years ago. I am a dark-skinned fella, and it wasn't uncommon to get called slurs 20 years ago. Yeah. One Vision says, this is where the party ends. I cannot stand here listening to you and your racist friend. Okay, I don't have that. I don't think, if you're talking about Kelly, Kelly's not my friend, and I told Kelly, I kind of gave Kelly a warning that he was on thin ice. So yeah, music says even more so 30 years ago. Richard said Trump is your typical dictator. Jen up the base says that Kelly, why are you so sour? Shit is supposed to be great for you. You won the presidency, the House, the Senate, yet they can't get anything done. Why are you here? Yeah, that's the thing too. I see these videos of these very, very angry people, these maggots and right wingers that are so angry. I mean, you can see they want to kill somebody. They really do. They want to beat the shit out of somebody and kill somebody. They're just itching for a fight. And I'm just thinking, my God, these are the sorest, worst winners I've ever seen in my life. Is this what winning? Is this what they think winning entitles them to? To just be complete and total assholes? I mean, so your guy won, and like Jen up the base says, that you got the House, you got the Senate, you've got fucking SCOTUS, you've got everything. So I guess what? So that entitles you to just be fucking brutal, fucking bullies and assholes? My God, is that what this is about? Is that what this is about? Just so you can feel emboldened to fucking push your weight around? And I'm not saying the person we have in the chat was doing that, but I'm talking about, you see these videos, they're kind of like the Karen videos, but they're like the dudes. I've been watching, was it Tizinzi or Tizizzi or whatever that guy's name is? And he puts out those videos of mainly white dudes, big, usually fat. We're talking about fatso. That's what Kelly called me, fatso. White dudes just getting in people's faces and their faces turning red and veins bulging out of their neck, and they're like they're gonna act like they want to just kill somebody. I guess that's what it's about. That's why they want Trump in leadership, because they feel that gives them the right to be complete and utter just fucking assholes to people. Caitlin Kyle says, no, the Democrats provide those small itsy-bitsy crumbs, and the Republicans don't want to give the crumbs. The socialists want the people to have the whole pie. Well, the thing about the Democrats, Caitlin, is we do have a big tent. The Republicans are pretty much, I think, in lockstep. Although we are seeing some division now because of Trump probably going too far for some of them. And we were talking about this a little bit, I guess, yesterday, about how there's moderates, there's more liberal, then there's the progressives, and within the Democratic Party, and that can cause some problems of trying to get things passed, like keeping us from getting Medicare for all. The moderates or the centrists, for some reason, don't want to do that because they are so dependent on, I guess, big corporate donors, donating to their campaigns. So we have that issue. But in the overall scheme of things, I don't think there's really a whole lot of difference, really, between a moderate and a progressive. I mean, there are, but it kind of comes down to, how far each one of those is willing to go. And so there's always this sort of fight and battle to try to find some sort of common ground. But the Democratic Party has a big tent, and so that takes a lot more, I think, a little more work than the Republican Party, which pretty much has walked in lockstep. Although, like I said, with Trump going so far, it has finally, we do finally see a rift there, and we might even get a Republican senator to flip in Lisa Murkowski. And I've been saying this for quite a while now. Like when I see Lisa what's her name, Murkowski, whatever, in the news about something, and where she's kind of siding with the Democrats, and I just go, I'm always saying, come on, Lisa, just come on over, Lisa, just do it, make the plunge, man. Come on, we'll take you. Come on, Lisa, just come to the light, Lisa. Come to the light side here, you know. And she might flip. She might switch to the Democratic Party. Who knows? I don't know. Caitlin says I vote Dem reluctantly, and you know, okay, Caitlin, I understand. You know, you're a little more hardcore, I guess. You know, way more towards the Bernie side, and I love Bernie. Don't get me wrong, and I'm glad you at least vote. You at least vote for Dems. It's kind of that thing, you know, the lesser of two evils that I've always talked about. Hal Sparks talks about. A lot of people, you know, use that terminology. Not that I don't think the Democratic Party is evil, but it's an expression meaning that if you really only have two choices, or really however many choices you have, and maybe they're not all perfect. You know, the Democratic Party isn't perfect, but I think when you compare it to the Republican Party, it's, in my opinion, anyhow, it's not even close. In terms of what they do and how they affect the country, the governing of this country, and how they affect the people of this country with their policies. And every time the Republicans are in there, I think things just go to shit. The economy goes to shit. We're always on the verge of a major recession. Under George W. Bush, we almost went into a Great Depression. We had housing markets collapse. We had banking collapse. You know, and then Obama got in there, turned things around, cleaned things up, got things going really good. Then what happens? Donald Trump got in there, took a really great economy and fucking fucked it up, tanked it. Then what happens? We get Joe Biden in there. He turns things around really good, gives us the best economy in the world, coming out of a fucking global pandemic. And then what happens? The fuck nuts or whatever. I don't know. We talk about cheating and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. But anyway, Trump gets in there, and within 5 months, 4, 5, 6 months, he's already destroying this really great economy that he was handed. So I think that I'm glad you vote for Democrats, whether it's reluctant or not. Because when it comes down to it, we really only have two choices, especially when it comes to the presidency, and you really only have two choices of parties. You know, Republican, Democrat. Now, it might be a little different in some of the other offices where maybe we can start getting some third-party people in, but for the most part, that's it. Those are your two choices, and so I'm glad that you are choosing Democrats over Republicans. Democrats aren't perfect by any means. By no means are they perfect. And like I said, we have a pretty big tent. We have a pretty wide, I think, you know, thought process or you know, in there, whereas the Republicans are a little more narrow, I think. And so that's why they say, you know, like Democrats are like herding cats, because we do have kind of a lot of personalities and a lot of, you know, different beliefs and things of how things should be done. Richard says, in Australia we have free Medicare. And wouldn't that be great? I think that would be great if the United States finally at least stepped into the 21st century. And I know a lot of these places around the world have had national health care for decades and decades. But wouldn't it be nice if we finally caught up with the rest of the fucking industrialized world. You know, that would be nice. And I don't think we're ever going to see it with Republicans. But hey, if the Republican Party all of a sudden said, "Yeah, we're going to have health care for all," whether you want to call it Medicare for all or universal health care, we're going to do that. And it was all good, and it was all done right, not some phony fake name that to try to fool people, but it was actually legitimate and real and good. I would be all for it. I don't really give a fuck what party does it, as long as it's fucking good. Tim Farrell says, I suspect Russia and Iran are playing a game of possum. Russia won't use a nuke, but I don't think they are against providing one to Iran. By the way, thanks, Tim Farrell, for being here. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the good old Driver's Lounge. I want to thank everyone for being here. We got 31 watching and 36 thumbs up. So we are now at a thumbs up surplus. But don't let that stop you if you haven't hit the thumbs up button already. And I'm talking to you, Kelly. Hit that thumbs up button. Call me fatso. One Division, laughing out loud. It's a song lyric, Trucker John. I know you better than that wasn't directed at you. Yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm not up to date on all the song lyrics. So, but thanks for clarifying that for me. Non-useful says the Kremlin warns that other nations ready to give Iran nukes and promises not to give nukes. Dangerous escalation has begun. Yeah, that's the fear, that the end of the world might come just from, someone has to strike the match. Michael McAndrews says Trumpy and Putin want someone to use a nuke to give them their own excuse. Fitness for life. Democrats are the bullies, old man. Well, I want to welcome the trolls. We've gotten somewhat trolly stuff today. That's fine. That helps get us out in the algorithm. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Just make sure you hit a thumbs up. I guess I'm told that even if you hit thumbs down, that it still is good for the algorithm. So if you want to hit thumbs down, that's fine. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Just don't come in here with any hate speech or out and out lies. Now, saying Democrats are bullies, I don't really count that as a lie. I don't agree with it, but that's sort of a subjective thing. So I'll allow it. Mad Max says, I remember ladies' entrance on pubs and bars from back in the 60s in Canada and UK. These were special entrances for single ladies that would come in on their own so they would look ladylike. Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen that, but that sounds kind of cool. Tim Farrell says, on the surface, it seems Iran has capitulated too easily and Trump laps it up. The terror for the U.S. and Israel is about to get real. I thought so too, Tim. Like, this all seems weird. Like, I'm not believing anything right now that comes out. I'm not putting a lot of stock in anything. I mean, it's all weird. Like, who's playing whom? And I suspect if anyone's getting played, it's probably Trump. It looks like it's getting cloudy outside. Oh yeah, it's getting a little overcast out here. Interesting. Josh, I'm not fat. I have dad bod. There you go. One Vision, woof woof at Mad Mac. I've had a dad bod for ever since my kids were in the womb. It's kind of weird. I was in pretty good shape all the way until, uh, we were expecting my son. And you know how they say like the guy will put on baby weight too or something? I did that and I like blew up and I've never really gone down. I don't know why. I don't know why, man. It's weird. Uh Jolie says dad bods are the best. Richard says I was born in Texas in 1947. I believe I have Texas roots in my family. William says I'm from Pennsylvania and I'm really disappointed in Fetterman. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Fetterman. Marsha with a $5 super sticker for the goal. Thank you, Marsha. Yippee to Marsha. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Oh, we're 3/5 of the way. I think I may have missed someone, maybe, or maybe I haven't got to it yet. But thank you so much. I do appreciate you helping keep the show going and growing. We are trying to get to 6 million subs. I want to catch up to I have a lot of catching up to do. I'm trying to catch up to the Minus brothers, Minus Touch. They're at 5 million. They're going for 6 million. So come on, folks. We got a lot of work to do. And I think my AC is not working for some reason. I don't know. Music says if voting were easier, a national holiday, multiple days to vote, etc., Democrats would win every presidential election. I've been for that. Yeah, I'm all for it. Maybe if we can get the House and the Senate and the White House, maybe we can actually do something like that. Gin Up the Base says, Trucker John, when I saw that Boston Brian was encroaching on your time slot, I started shaking my head. Apparently there is some traction to the new East Coast, West Coast influencer beef. Yeah, I don't look at it as a beef, We all do our times on these YouTube shows, I think. Um, that's around our lives, our schedules and things. And so, I don't know what Brian's situation is. He set his times because it fits his schedule. I think he still has. I think he still has a day job, or maybe not. Maybe he's going YouTubing full time now. I don't know, but like I've always said, I can't really adjust my schedule to avoid people, or else I would never be on, because there's always someone else that I like that's on at the same time as me, always. And so it is what it is. You just have to make a decision, folks. And if you've got multiple devices and you've got two people on at the same time that you like, you can put one device on one show, the other device on the other show, or you can go back and forth, or whatever. It's up to you guys how you do it. But I think Boston Brian's a good guy. I think he's got a good show. So what can I say? It is what it is. And there is also, these things are posted, and you can watch playback. Whatever. There's all kinds of options that people can do. Michael Ganders, I think the extremists infiltrated and took over the Republican Party. Marcia says it's too damn hot and humid for me. I'd be happy if the temps were never above 75. I know that. Me too. That's like a paradise. If you're in a place that's never over 75 and never below, let's say 60 or something. Laura Lee says, well, at least that's a blue zone for the most part. Butler are bullheaded rednecks. I'm not sure. I might be mid thread. I might be mid thread on that. I'm not sure what that's about. One Vision says, let's see how well Trump's doing. Walmart and Tesla moving out of America. General Mills that feeds 80, I guess, percent of Americans bankrupt. Tyson closing down. Wow. I hadn't heard of any of that. One Vision says farmers are burning crop fields in 10 states they can't afford to harvest. People have been talking about there's going to be food shortages because of what Trump is doing with the economy and all these stupid tariffs. Apparently, is Wes here? Because I see that. Oh, it isn't here. Marcia says, I love Trucker John, and Wes isn't here. Okay. Sammy Carter says, I'm sad you say you probably won't get free health care because it's both parties' main donors. Um, well, that to me, that's the Republicans won't do it because they don't want any social programs at all. They want everything to be privatized, you know, and run by private companies. The Democrats, however, I think a majority of Democrats are all on board with like a Medicare for all or universal health care, system. But there just are a few holdouts. I think there's just a few holdouts that need to be either shown the door, primaried, or have a come to Jesus moment or something. It's not really the whole party. It's the Joe Manchins of the world, who's not in Congress anymore, and I think he turned out, and in the state that he's in is a very red state, and now a Republican holds that seat, by the way. So all the bitching that everyone has done about Joe Manchin, um, are you happy now that a Republican fills that seat? I mean, you can kind of see why Joe Manchin had to be a little bit of a dick in order to hold that Senate seat for as long as he did in a red state. Jen at the base says, Michael McAndrews. Hi, Michael. As for his starting point, personally, I looked at Newt Gingrich in 93, 94, openly talking about not cooperating on anything with the Democrats any longer, downhill from there. That's probably right. That contract on America was kind of, definitely a starting point for all of this not working together. There's the other one. There's the other super sticker. Laura Lee, $5 super sticker or super chat. Thank you, Laura Lee. Yippee to Laura Lee. Thank you so much. Much love to you, Trucker John. Thank you, Laura Lee. Thank you for helping us make the goal. We're 3/5 of the way there. Thanks for keeping the channel going and growing and helping us, hopefully, on our march to 6 million subscribers. Music says, TJ, you might consider doing a vertical live stream. It can get you into the algorithm pretty effectively. I've heard of that, but I'm not going to do it. I don't like it. I don't like vertical. Whenever someone has a vertical live stream, I watch for 2 seconds and leave. I don't like it. I feel like you're just not getting the picture. I know that I guess they do it because maybe a lot of people just watch things on their phone, and maybe that's where everyone's at these days. But I usually I'm watching on a device or on my TV set, and I don't like just the little strip. I like the whole horizon. But you might be right, and it might be to my own detriment that I don't do that. Yeah, music, it will destroy the chat though. So yeah, I don't really like it. But maybe as a once in a while thing, or maybe just to do every now and then. Maybe. Bad Max says, yeah, William, poor Fetterman. After his stroke, he changed drastically. That's too bad because the Republicans made fun of him and the Dems stood up for him. It is disappointing. But would you rather? Let me ask you this: would you rather have Fetterman and in there and the way he is doing what he's doing, or would you rather have Dr. Oz? Hmm? I rest my case. See, Jen at the base says that Fitness for Life. I think I might be misread. I don't know if I read anything from Fitness for Life. So maybe I won't read this because I don't feel like scrolling back up. I don't even see Fitness for Life in here. So I don't know. But anyhow, maybe they were already removed. I don't think I even saw that post. So I'm gonna skip over Jen up the base because I'm mid-thread and I don't even know if that person is even still in here because I didn't even see it. Laura Lee says it's hot up here, 90s all week. Non-useful says China in shock. A new hypersonic aircraft with Mach 5 speeds triggers massive global reaction after U.S. engine breakthrough in a groundbreaking move to bolster national defense capabilities. Interesting. So all of that, U.S. based aerospace company Ursa Major has secured a $32.9 million contract to supply advanced H-13 rocket engines for Stratolaunch Talon A hypersonic test vehicle, marking a significant step forward in the global race for hypersonic technology dominance. Thanks for that. That might be, I don't think anything is really non-useful. I think that might be useful at some point. Good to know. These are good things to know, I think. Um, Barbara Nicholas, I have two devices watching both at the same time. There you go, Barbara. That's how you do it. That's how we beat the system. Marsha says, I like Boston Brian at Trucker John, but I love you. I love you. Oh, thank you. Like I said before, you have become a must see for me. I only miss your live streams when I have to do things with help from the caregiver. Thank you, Marsha. I appreciate you so much coming in here and spending time in the driver's lounge. It's always good to see you in here. So I'm glad that you're here. Just sort of scrolling down a little bit here. Roxanne and Jen are having a nice conversation with each other. I see. Jolie says, I don't like the vertical live streams either. I always skip them. Yeah, I very rarely do I watch it because I'm always like, I feel like I'm missing out on the whole picture. Marsha with a $2 super chat. Hope this counts towards the goal. I think it did, Marsha. Thank you so much. Yippee. Yippee to Marsha. Yippee. We're 4/5 of the way there. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. It's always appreciated, guys, but not necessary. I just wanted to make sure, I touch on that. Only do the money stuff only if you can afford it. In no way should anyone, put themselves in any type of hardship, to do it. So I appreciate you, all you guys who do that. It's really great and it helps the show out. But being here, talking, chatting, liking, subscribing, that's all great. Those are all different ways of helping the show. Doug G's here, says Bennies are okay. we talking about amphetamines of some sort? I don't know. Sammy Carter, I'm doing the same with you and Mary Trump. Yeah, I feel like I'm in good company. Say hi to Mary for me. Teresa TAK is here. Hey, Teresa. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. Oh, okay. Jennifer says, I remember that. See, my short-term memory, I think, is fucked up. Jen says, Trucker John, Fitness for Life said earlier to you, Democrats are bullies, old man. I do remember that. That's what I was responding to. I was defending your honor. Thank you, Jen up the base. Well, look at there. A Giants fan defending the honor of a Dodgers fan. Look at that. Well, you are a scholar and a gentleman. Fancy's here. Hey, Fancy. Never fear, Fancy is here. Thanks for coming on in. Josh says, I like this show in chat. If I'm here, it means I'm having a relaxing, unproductive afternoon. Yeah, because we don't produce anything here, Trucker John. Maybe just a bunch of bullshit. No. MJ Daniels here, or as I say, MJD. MJD, hello everybody. Well, hello back at you. Coming at us from Eastern Washington. Not quite the hub of progressivism as maybe the western half of the state is. One Vision says, sigh. We've been hypersonic since the 70s. Hypersonic flight is not new tech. The X-15's highest speed, 4,520 miles per hour. I tried to say it how I think maybe One Vision was saying it. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I did thought that was kind of an abrupt stop there. So One Vision continues and says, okay, so the 4,520 miles per hour was achieved on 3 October 1967 when William J. Knight flew at Mach 6.7 at an altitude. William J. Knight, I'll have you know, was my state rep in Palmdale, Lancaster for like forever. So I'm very familiar with William Knight. They've got plaques and shrines and shit all over the Antelope Valley to that guy. Oh, by the way, that was on my 7th birthday. So shout out to William J. Knight, who I think I've even ran into him. I think I've even bumped into a few times back in the day. I think he's long gone dead now. And then his son, I think Steve Knight, kind of took over and ran for his seat and won for a while. I don't know if he's still in or not. That was for a California state legislature. Non-Usual says St. Louis area donut shop wins best donuts in America tournament. Fluorescence, Old Town Donuts, Florissants, maybe. Florissants. Old Town Donuts now holds the title of best donuts in the U.S. thanks to a national tournament. Wow. It makes me want to just go there just to try a donut. Don't it? Don't it make you just want to go there? In the St. Louis area. Laura Lee, I'll be popping in Hal when he gets on. I need a good laugh. That should be in about, I believe, about 2.5 hours from now. Hal Spark should be coming on. Mad Max says, and this is in quotations, God promised men that good, obedient women would be found in all corners of the world. Then he made the world round. End quote. Oh, Roxanne says no Hal today. We have to wait till tomorrow. Really? Is he off? I didn't hear that he was not going to be on today, unless he's doing. Is it because of the jam? Is he doing the jam? Maybe that was what it is. Thanks, Roxanne. If anyone else can make sure on that. I don't want to say I don't want to give out false info. But that makes sense, Roxanne, because today is Tuesday, and I do remember him saying he was driving to LA last night and they're doing the jam, and so he's probably not going to do a show today. That tracks, as the kids say. One vision says, when William Knight said the need for speed, everybody ducks. MJD, Top Pot is one of the best around this area. Is that a donut shop? Because if it's not, it should be a fucking dispensary. Janet DeBase, Voodoo Donuts is one of my kryptonites. Their maple bars are really something. Plus, DoorDash delivers. I've heard of Voodoo Donuts. I'm trying to think if I ever went to it. I don't think I did. It's like in the Portland area, right? Do they have more than one? I know I've heard of Voodoo Donuts. I don't think I ever had one though. But there was this really good donut shop that I used to go to every now and then. It was down near, God, where was it? I want to say down by Albany or Eugene or something. And I don't remember the name of it, but I was able to, if I was bobtailing, which means, for those of you that aren't familiar with trucking terms, that means when you're just driving your truck, the tractor part without a trailer, you're just driving the tractor. So there was a place where I would sometimes be bobtailing because it was near a Home Depot distribution center, and there were a lot of times when I would be dropping a trailer there and then bobtail out and get a trailer somewhere else, pick it up somewhere else. So I'd have a little bit of freedom there, where I was able to find places I could go into without that damn trailer. And there was this donut shop nearby, and so whenever I was bobtailing and I was going by that donut shop, I would stop and get me some donuts. Hence the reason why I've never been able to lose the weight since my kids were born. I just did that. Anyhow, yeah. Roxanne Epstein says, "House said it at the end of the show last night." I wrote it down. That's a good thing. Yeah, write things down and just to make so you don't forget. So that tracks. Yeah, if I think he's going to the Whiskey A Go Go, the world famous Whiskey A Go Go. He's performing there, and so that makes sense that he's not on. Fancy says they look so good. I was looking at a video. Lori Lee is so sad. I guess sad about Hal not being on. Doug G. Video Local Vertical Video. Yeah. And hers are a little different. I mean, those ones aren't too bad. But like I do, sometimes I do. You guys maybe you've seen I do some. I haven't done it in a while because I haven't been able to do it. But where I do a walking video where I put my phone on. I bought a gimbal and I walk around like Vegas or the Vegas Strip, or even when I was a truck driver, if I walked around just looking at some of the sights of a certain town or whatever. I think the regular horizontal view is much better because you're actually seeing the town or whatever it is you're trying to show. You can actually see it much better than when it's in the vertical. Now with Video Loco, she does a lot of stuff where she's like talking, or she'll point it out like if she's driving, and you kind of just see the road, and that's kind of different because it's her, doing her thing. But if you're doing something where you're trying to show off or show, scenery or a place, then I just don't think the vertical works very well. So it just depends on what you're trying to do, I guess. One Vision says Krispy Kreme donuts icing sets off. I don't even know what that is. Oh, amphetamine. Okay, I'll do a little editing here. Amphetamine police field test kits. I don't know if that's a joke. I never can tell when One Vision is joking. If that's a serious, actual fact, or if that's a joke. I don't. I give up. I give up. Josh, I like clever dispensary names. Like if Top Pot is a donut shop, I really think I would be better as a dispensary. Anyhow, Gin of the Base Fancy. Some of them are just too much. I have found what I love, and they are addicting. Here in Vegas, they have what's called pink box donuts. Those can be a little disappointing because they look really good. They have a wide variety of all different kinds, and I've had some pretty good ones, but they're not as good as they think they are. They think that they are an award-winning donut place, and they're not. I mean, I think you can get better donuts even at Dunkin' Donuts than a pink box, actually. Christina Weibel's here. Hey, Christina, good to see you. Thanks for being here and joining us in the driver's lounge. MJ Daniel says Top Dot Donuts. They make eggnog donuts over the holidays, and they are so good. You guys, I'm gonna go get me some donuts. Jen at the base says, Trucker John, now when you are bobtailing, how does that affect your popularity with lot lizards? Hypothetical, of course. I don't think it matters. As long as you're in the truck stop or wherever, and if they're there and you're there, and your eyes meet from across the parking lot, and then it's love. It's just love. It's all just love, man. It's just love, pure love. Roxanne Epstein says, Laura Lee, I'm sorry, my dear. I know what that feels like today. Totally myth thread. I'm not even sure what we're talking about. The weather, maybe. I don't know. Michael McAndrew says, my favorite donuts are the small sugar donuts at the Chinese restaurant here in TC, Michigan. After dinner, I would get 3 of them, and they were so good, freshly made. Nothing beats a freshly made donut. Right? Am I right? That's why people rush to the Krispy Kreme when they turn the light on and it's like the donuts are coming out. And yeah. Fancy says, I think they have one on City Walk. A Voodoo donut? Is it Voodoo? Voodoo? I know I've heard of Voodoo, and I'm trying to think if I ever got into one, but if I stumbled across one or not. Michael McAndrews, I've never heard of Voodoo donuts before. Laura Lee, I got to go, guys. Got to pick up my niece. If you aren't here when I get back, then it was good to see you all. Well, thank you, Laura Lee. Thanks. It was good having you in the driver's lounge. Thanks for being here, and hopefully we'll see you again. For now, I'm just doing every day at 11 a.m. Monday through Saturday. We'll do that for a while and see how that works. And who knows? But for now, it's 11 a.m. One Vision at Trucker John, it's true. A guy never did drugs in his life, got busted over Krispy Kreme icing. Wow. That doesn't make sense to me. It's just sugar. I mean, I know sugar gives you a sugar buzz. Hey, Big Hook, the Big Canuck is here. Good to see Big Hook. The America hater. I'm just kidding. Big Hook is very concerned about America. Non-Mutual says, I thought on 67 is no longer full retirement age. Social Security issues new guidelines for retirement in the United States. Work till you drop. No Social Security retirement, just the grave. I don't know. I don't know I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Jen's Base, Dunkin' Donuts are terrible. They're not terrible. Don't be a donut snob, Jen up the base. Don't be a donut snob. Just because Voodoo Donuts or someplace you think is they're like gourmet and they're excellent. That doesn't mean that something else is terrible. I eat at Denny's all the time. Denny's is not Gordon Ramsay, okay? But I've had many a meal at Denny's and been quite satisfied, and was very happy to pay the much cheaper price of Denny's than what a Gordon Ramsay's meal would cost me. I've never eaten at Gordon Ramsay, by the way, but I understand it's gourmet and it's very expensive. And the two are incomparable. You can't compare Denny's a Denny's meal to a Hell's Kitchen meal or something. But my point is, just because I say the Gordon Ramsay meals are far superior, that doesn't mean Denny's is terrible or horrible. It might be terrible or horrible, but it has nothing to do with because this one is so much better, in my opinion. Michael McAndrews, Krispy Kreme is a Michigan thing. My wife and friends love them. Well, they're all over. They're an all over thing. I remember when they first came to our town in Palmdale, Lancaster area in California. Man, it was all the rage because they hadn't had one before, and that place was like a line out the door, you know. Mad Max says I went to Top Pot Donuts about 6:30 after going to a movie. I wanted one glazed, and they gave me a dozen because they were closing for the day, and would just throw them out. That happened to me one time. I guess last year. I was at Red Rock Casino in Summerlin, which is off strip about 10 miles, 10, 15 miles off strip. And I remember I went there to charge. That's when I had the Tesla. I was charging the Tesla, and I went inside to use the restroom in the casino. And inside they had this donut shop. It was like a coffee donut shop. So I thought, well, maybe I'll get a donut and a coffee while I'm waiting for the car to charge. And so I got a coffee, and I guess it was when I got there, it just happened to be like 2 minutes before they were closing. And so I said, well, what do you suggest? What's a good one? And he kind of said, well, this one's my favorite. So I said, yeah, let me get one of those. And he goes, do you want any more? Because we're closing. I'm going to throw all these out. So I said, yeah, sure. Just let me have like two of those and two of those. He ended up giving me like a dozen. He probably could have just emptied he had like racks of them. He probably could have just gave me all of them if I wanted it. But I think I ended up getting like a dozen donuts of all these different flavors, and they were pretty good. It was just I don't remember the name of it, but it's inside a casino, and they were actually really good donuts. And I remember taking them home, and after a day or two, the rest of them, I think I ended up throwing them out because they, or I think I put them in Ziploc bags. But still, even then, they kind of get old because I wasn't like I was going to sit and eat a dozen donuts, but I like having one with my coffee in the morning. And I did that for a few mornings, and I think I ended up throwing the rest away. But I probably could have gotten, 3 dozen donuts if I wanted them. But I just happened to get the guy just right at the right time. And he told me, yeah, come back. We close it. I think it was 10 p.m. We close, and we always throw them out. So if you ever want donuts, come on by. And then I just never did because I just never was out there at that time, Aaron West says Krispy Kreme is a North Carolina thing, founded in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So there. Barbara Nicholas, haha, trucker, love of your wallet. I don't know what that means. Oh, about the lot lizard. Yeah, okay, yeah. That's it. That is it. Yeah. Roxanne Epstein, I haven't been out for donuts in a long time. Wow, Josh said a friend of mine got pulled over and searched once. The cops were testing all of his empty Altoids containers. That's why people don't be a pig. Throw your shit away. Don't just toss your empty containers in the car by the way. Please don't live like pigs. Clean up after yourselves. That's what I tell my kids all the time because they are kind of piggish. Their cars are. I don't even want to get in the car with them. Their cars are so hideous and disgusting. They don't know how to fucking throw shit out. You know, I don't get it. Every time I leave a car, I gather up all my shit that needs to be. If I have fast food stuff or whatever, you know, I gather everything up and I throw it away. I never leave the car with anything in it. I don't get it. I don't get people that live like that. Let's see. Roxanne MC, that I like Krispy Kreme too, Aaron. They were in Virginia too. MJ Daniel says Denny's was my favorite place to go after a party at 2 a.m. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Josh says he had just quit smoking and had a shit ton of Altoids. Like I say, gather your shit up whenever you leave the car. There's almost always, if you're in a parking lot, there's almost always a trash can. When you're at home, just gather your shit up, your trash up, and walk in and throw it in the trash can. Michael McAndrews, I had never heard of Krispy Kreme until I moved to Michigan. Non-musical says I grew up in a small Midwest town that had a French baker and his family who owned H&K Bakery. Oh my God, the old-fashioned cheesecake was heaven. Wow. Definitely, you guys making me hungry. Mad Max says, I guess, question. What's the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal thermometer? Answer, the way it tastes. Guy in shopping department just told me that one. Okay. Kind of gross, but okay. Jen at the Basic Trucker John, TJ, I speak of how terrible Dunkin' Donuts are after 18 years in New Hampshire. Dunkin' Donuts are not good. I compare Dunkin' Donuts with a small local old school donut shop or Krispy Kreme. DD sucks. And once again, I will say you are a donut snob. Ever eat at Winchell's? Are you going to tell me Winchell's sucks too? Jennifer Bay says, and yes, I am a donut snob. Coffee too. Oh, I don't like snobs, by the way. I don't like snobby people. Fancy, I love a good jelly donut. I do too, Fancy. Jelly donuts might be my favorite. Super chat. Yippee! And we made the goal, so yippee again. Thank you so much, Michael. We made our goal. You guys are awesome. Thanks for keeping us going, keeping us growing, keeping us on our trek for 6 million subscribers. That's right, folks. We are marching towards 6 million subscribers. Jim the Base says Fancy Voodoo has a Raspberry Romeo that has so much jelly in it. Delicious. One Vision says, remember saving Marlboro miles? I'd get pulled over. Cops would get pissed going through 100 empty packs of smokes. So what did you do? You just threw them like on the floor and like, oh, I'm going to save those. You couldn't like put them in something? Like a gallon size Ziploc baggie maybe, or a shoebox or something? Just saying. I'm just saying. Hey, to each their own. It's your car. It's your life. I'm just saying, if I was saving Marlboro miles, I would probably get a shoebox or something to stick them in. Michael McAndrews, the raspberry special at our local diner is to die for. Then you won't need to eat for a couple of days afterward. It's like French toast smothered in cream and raspberry sauce. Wow. That does sound yummy, as Fancy says. Roxanne is laughing that I called Jen a snob. I just don't like snobs. It's like, excuse me, my donuts aren't as good as the ones that you like. Excuse the hell out of me. MJ Daniel, donuts are like pizza. Even a bad one is good. There you go, MJ Daniel. That's the spirit. That's more in line with my thinking, I think. Non-usual, what's the difference between oral and auxiliary? The taste. Um, and less filling, too. I don't know. Jolie, it's a jelly. Josh says, I suppose I'm a snob with liquor. I'm going to pass on the cheap stuff, but I mostly drink beer. Barbara Nicholas says, my daughter teaches English as second language. One of her students works for Tim Ho's night shift, free bagels, donuts, muffins 2 times a week, as in Tim Horton. Tim Hortons is pretty good. I like Tim Hortons. Of course, Jen probably hates Tim Hortons. It's not good enough for Jen's taste buds. Diana Thompson Buchanan, there is a Voodoo Donuts in the Denver airport. Wherever I fly out, I start my day with a grape glaze. Maybe that's where I've seen it, because I've flown out of Denver airport quite a few times, actually. Powder Girl says, hey, Trucker John. Hey, Powder Girl. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us in the driver's lounge. Good to see you. I'm not sure if I've seen Powder Girl before, so thanks for being here. I hope you like, subscribe, and share. Hang out with us a bit. Roxanne Epstein, I'm definitely a cannabis snob. I've earned it. Only snobby about what I partake in, not judging others. Dang, we're sweet people. One Vision says to Trucker John, when I was young, I was a 2-carton-a-week kid, high-strung, laughing my ass off. I'd clean them up and box them as the miles, box up the miles once a month or so. Well, okay, at least you did that. There are some people that never clean, ever, clean or straighten up. Maybe am I a clean snob? Am I a clean car snob? I might be. I guess I don't like myself. Big Hook, you know, Trucker John, and now we're all drunk. The next time you are on Liberal Dan, I think we should do a drinking game. If you really want to get drunk, folks, the next time Big Hook, go to Liberal Dan. He's on Mondays, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Central Time. Figure out your time zone. It's up to you to figure it out, folks. Right here on the YouTube channel, Liberal Dan is on, and Big Hook calls in usually, almost every time, and he talks and has some very interesting subject matter and talking about what's going on politically, and has very good, insightful things to say. But he has a tendency to say, a lot. So if we want to play a game where we get pretty tanked, probably, we could play the Big Hook, drinking game. And every time he says, you got to take a drink or a sip or a swig or whatever it is you're drinking. And I guarantee it won't take very long where you'll be 3 sheets to the wind, probably. So I'm all for it. See, the thing is, I'm usually either working when I'm listening to the Liberal Dan, so I can't do it. But if I'm home, like on a Monday, I worked last night, but I take a lot of Mondays off. I could probably do it on a Monday. Wednesdays I usually work. So, but if you're at home and you're in a safe location and you feel like getting a little snockered, just play the Big Hook, drinking game. Trademark Trucker John, I guess. I don't know. Belfast Bob's here. Hello, TJ. Bit late. That's okay, Belfast Bob. Better late than never, I always say, and just as long as you get here. So thanks, Belfast Bob, all the way from Ireland, I believe, right? From Ireland, the Emerald Isle. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. Non-Musel says my great grandmother would make liquor cream donuts for the holidays. Sandy Foltz, I'm back from voting. Well, good for you, Sandy. Thank you for doing your civic duty and voting. And that's awesome that you voted. Sandy's, for those of you who don't know, it lives in Niagara Falls, I believe. So upstate New York. And went up there and voted. Jen of the Base, Sugar John, wow, you just blew past my post demonstrating our agreement on MJ Daniels' take, shaking my head, liberal media, TJ censoring Jen of the Base, and misrepresenting my snobbiness. I don't know. I guess I skipped it. I don't even know. I can't read all of them, Jen. Or should I call you Base? I don't know. I can't read them all. I would be 45 minutes behind if I did that. Big Hook, Monday and Wednesday. Right, I know. Yeah, that's what I said. Sandy Foltz, it was only locals running, not the governor yet, or Niagara Falls mayor. Okay, well, still, it's important to vote. I think it's important to vote for all your elections. City-wide, county, statewide, and your national elections. I think they're all important. They're all just as important as the next, I think. So I'm glad you voted. Marcia says, Josh, before I quit drinking alcohol, I drank Patron Silver Tequila and Miller High Life beer. Nice. When Vision laughing my ass off, no, we don't need alcohol poisoning. That might be, that might be a bit dangerous. If playing the big hook, drinking game. That might be some 911 calls happening. Yeah. So play at your own risk, folks. Roxanne Epstein says, my car is clean too. I don't smoke in my car, not this one. I used to smoke in the car. Not the best thing to do. Yeah, because it just makes the car smell like a big ashtray. And I don't think ashtrays smell all that well. I am sounding a bit like a non-smoking snob in the car snob. Don Busa says, living in the forest, you definitely want to clean the garbage from your car or the critters will find a way in. Oh, yeah. I've been camping up in Redwood Forest in California, or up in Kings Canyon and places like that, and I've seen the results of people leaving food in their cars and bears literally ripping the doors right off the hinges of an old. This is back like in the 70s when they really made cars like out of fucking iron and shit, Diane Russell's here. Hey, Diane, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the old driver's lounge. I know I always miss Nicole now. With this new time, I'm missing the Nicole Sandler show. I'll have to watch her on yesterday I watched her on the replay. I had to do it. That's how I had to do it. That's how you do it, folks. If you miss a show, someone's show, then you can always catch them on a replay. Big my McConaughey trademark. Everyone is saying hello to Diane and other folks in here. That's good. Nice to see everyone's all proper and nice to one another. Not being snobs. Today's word of the day is snob. Today's show brought to you by the word of the day, snob. Trucker John is a hypocrite because Trucker John, I'm learning that I'm actually a snob myself. Josh, and now I'm speaking in the third person, so I got that going for me. Josh says, I keep a paper grocery bag for trash in my Toyota and have a trash can mounted on the side door in my van. There you go. That's more like it, Josh. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. I hate a messy car. And I'm talking about like my kids and my ex. The car is so bad you can't even sit down in the seat. That's ridiculous. And then you try to move and stuff, and they're like, "Don't touch that! Don't move that! Don't step on that!" I'm like, "How can I not?" I don't have to worry about offending my kids or my ex because they never watch the show. By the way, Big Hook says, "Hi, Diane. Good to see you as always. I miss Randy Rhodes and you guys a lot. I miss Randy Rhodes too. I hope she's doing well. I know she's undergoing treatments. I believe, like cancer treatments and things of this nature. So I hope everything's going well. I think she was doing some chemo and stuff. So wish the best always for Randy Rhodes. Mad Matt Patron Silver is the best. Did I ever show you? Let me show you. This was back. I think I was doing Lyft still. I don't think I was doing the cab driving. And I dropped this young couple off at the airport, and they gave me this bottle of booze because they said that they weren't going to be able to take it in with them. They didn't want to, like, I guess, have it go through customs or whatever. Because I think they were from out of the country, and they said, "Do you want this bottle?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I still have it. I haven't cracked it open. Let's see here. Ugh. I haven't. I don't really sit around drinking that much, so I haven't even opened it. But what do you guys think of this? It's Hennessy. Look at that. You know, seals intact. Hennessy, very special cognac. How do you say? How do you say that? Cognac. Cognac. Is this? Do you guys has anyone ever tried this? You guys think this is any good? It looks good. I mean, it's a nice little bottle. Um, this says produced. But I can't even read it. Produced and bottled in Cognac. Is that how you say it? Cognac, France. Wow. So yeah, this is made in France. Hennessy Cognac. Anyhow, it looks good. Someday maybe if I ever have guests over or there's some special occasion, maybe I'll crack it open. Uh, but I just was wondering what do you guys think of it? Cognac, yeah, cognac. It's produced and bottled in a place called Cognac, France. It's kind of like champagne. It's only champagne, I guess, if it's made in, is it Champagne, France, or whatever? And anything else, if it's made somewhere else, it could be like the same exact thing, but anywhere else, then it's just called sparkling wine, I think. Is that the deal? You guys, come on, you alkies, tell me, enlighten us with your alcoholic knowledge. Diane Russell says, Brett now has a big show, Big Hook. He comes on at 9 a.m., same as Tom Hartman. So I do his show for the hour and then head over to Tom's. Come join me. And that 9 o'clock hour, so yeah, you got Brett, who was the, I don't know if you call him a producer or whatever, but he or technical producer or whatever for Randy Rhodes. call screener guy, and all that kind of stuff. Now he has his own show at 9 a.m. Tom Hartman's on at 9 a.m. And on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my personal favorite, Hal Sparks is on at 9 a.m. So that's a tough one. But I do manage to watch. I usually watch Hal, just when he's on, start to finish. And I usually manage to catch a little bit of Tom's show, a little bit of Brett's show, in the replays. So we do what we can do. Is my point, I guess. Roxanne Epstein, little snobby TJ, you're just like us. I guess I'm finding out, yeah, that I'm just as big of a snob as you other snobs. I guess we're all snobby about some subject. Fancy says I don't really have much car trash, just an occasional water bottle. See there, Fancy? I bet you it would be a joy to get into your car because it'd be nice and clean. I don't gotta worry about stepping on stuff or sitting in something. Diane Russell, number 51. Thank you, Diane. We are at a thumbs up surplus, but hey, the bigger the surplus, the better. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up by now, please do so. Josh, I chose TJ over Mark Thompson today. Thank you, Josh. You know why? Because Mark Thompson sucks. No, I'm just kidding. Is Mark Thompson the Mark Thompson that used to be on the local Fox News affiliate in LA and does a lot of TYT stuff? It seems to be, I don't mean to sully his name by associating him with TYT, because he does seem to be, from what I've seen of Mark Thompson, he does seem to be pretty, at least lines up with a lot of my viewpoints. So I was just sucking I was just kidding when I said he sucked, by the way. I know I say stuff in jest, and then I kind of feel like, oh shoot, I should probably clarify that because people will think I really think he sucks or something. And I don't really, although I haven't really watched him enough to really make, I think, a really good evaluation one way or the other. But from what I've seen of Mark Thompson, he seems to be okay. Marsha don't own a car anymore, so there, you don't even have to, that's one less thing to worry about, Marsha. One less thing to worry about. Diane Russell, yes, TJ, I'm a greeter and a hugger. There you go. Roxanne Epstein, I only have CD books in my car, and Fred has his doggy seat. Oh, that's so cute. Fancy, where do you get all this car trash? Well, I know in my experience with my family members that I was speaking of, they just get shit and they just toss it in the car and they never take it out. I mean, until it gets so bad, I think like once a year, maybe twice a year, they'll get a big giant trash bag and they'll just empty all the shit into the trash, and it'll be some of it's trash and some of it's stuff they don't want to throw away. It's like paperwork and shit. And so then they have to go, they say they're going to go through the bag and sort out the trash and if there's anything they need to keep. I don't know what they do. It's just ridiculous. Let's see. Roxanne said, that's why all the ladies were crushing on Josh the other day. I'm not sure why. I missed the why part of that. Big Hook says, sorry, I'm still half asleep. Jolie, I sort of missed it. Jelly donuts are pretty good, though, but also messy. They can be messy. That's for sure. But they're good. Belfast Bob, my grandkids don't respect my car at all, laughing out loud. I know, those little grandkids can be little shits, can't they? Hey, Three Girls, Three Wheels. I haven't seen Three Girls, Three Wheels in a long time. Thanks for coming on into the old driver's lounge. Good to see you. Three Girls, Three Wheels says, I'll just get a bottle of Blanton's for the drinking game. Oh, Three Girls, Three Wheels they're in on the drinking game. Like I say, just be careful. We might want to make some rules as to, to sort of pace ourselves. Because, like I say, with the Big Hook, drinking game, you might get blind drunk pretty quickly. So We might have to do a thing where maybe it's every other or maybe it's every third or something, because sometimes Big Hook gets on a roll with those and you might just be gulp, 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 gulp. So we might have to put some limitations in there, so we at least make it to the end of the show. Again, Liberal Dan's show, which comes on every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Liberal Dan, be there. Be there if you care to not be square. Diane Russell says, speaking of donuts, I got some powdered ones. See, everyone loves donuts. Mad Max says, you would think that gold is better, but it tastes like petrol. I hardly drink much anymore, but when there's a celebration, we always cheer with silver. Was that the Patron you were talking about or whatever? I don't know. Roxanne Epstein says, Jen, I got the six disc CD changer in Sally Babe. She's 18 years old. I remember having cars, with the six disc CD changer, loading up that disc, putting in your CDs, getting ready, hit the road. Search for you. My car is squeaky clean. There you go. I like that. I like to hear that. I like to hear people have clean cars. I'm just sort of skipping down a little bit. Belfast Bob. Yep, my liver shudders when I mention alcohol. WW. Hey, W, good to see you. Thanks for joining us in the Driver's Lounge. W says, nothing better than a powdered donut. I like a good powdered donut. They're a little messy, but hey, I think it's worth it. If you're getting something delightful to put in your mouth. If it's a little messy, well, then so be it. Oh my. Big Hook says, hi, Ruben. Good to see you as always. Sorry, I was scrolling back to reference a jelly reference. Cognac. Yeah, cognac. What was I saying? Cognac or something? Yeah, cognac. There you go, Mad Mac. Cognac. Gin Up the Base says, Trucker John, crack that shit open right now, TJ. Day drinking is a great habit to start. Cognac. Oh, I'm saving it. I don't even know. I think I've had cognac before. WW, that was the pimp's drink. Diane Russell, donuts are calling me. Fancy pool hall special. Roxanne Epstein said, it's strong. It's pimp juice for sure, WW. Cognac. Everyone's calling it pimp juice. It was a very lovely young Asian couple that gave me this, by the way. In their 20s, mid-20s, or early to mid-20s. Very lovely couple. I believe they were flying back to somewhere in Asia. They didn't want to take that through the check-in there. Big Hook says, hi, Fancy. So have you run over any ISIS agents yet? ISIS agents? Marsha says, thank you, Trucker John. Love you. See you next time. Oh, Marsha's leaving? Well, thank you, Marsha. Thanks for being here. Oh, we're over 2 hours already. Oh, my goodness. That just flew by. Didn't that fly by, guys? Talking about all of our snobbery and donuts and booze. Man, the time just flew by. 2 hours and 16 minutes? Wow. I can't see my state of charge on my phone. I imagine it's getting pretty low because I didn't start at a full 100 because I was out doing stuff and I didn't charge it up. I think I was only at 77% or 80% when I started, so it's probably getting pretty low. So I probably should end the show before it just completely goes black. I had no idea that we had gone this far over, by the way. I guess I was just having such a great time calling everyone a snob and talking about donuts and booze. I mean, come on. Does Boston Brian do this? Does he talk about donuts and booze and call his subscribers snobs? No, you don't get that kind of content. You get that here on Trucker John. So if that's what you like, no, I love Boston Brian. I'm just kidding. Um, Belfast Bob, you need a smoking jacket and a cigar to go with it. You're right. All right. WW, my front seat is clean. The rest of it's pretty junky. That doesn't count. W, you have a junky car. Three girls, not into Hennessy. Fancy's car smells like raspberries. Paul Sharkey Mannion, another person from across the pond. Thank you for being here. Paul Sharkey Mannion says, howdy TJ and truckers. People need to stop trying to kill their neighbors. I agree wholeheartedly. I'm just skipping up here because before the battery dies, we need to get going. I need to get going here, and I can't believe it's been well over 2 hours. That just flew by. I guess that's a good sign that you're having a good time. Having a good time, just like the song says, right? Gonna have a good time, even if you're a snob. Hush your mouth. You're just a big snob. I'm going to change the words. I'm going to work snob into it somehow. Marie Giangreco, tequila. Da, 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 da. Marie, thanks for being here, by the way, as we are ending the show. The Bay's Powered Jelly Donuts are pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty damn good. Let's see. Diane Russell, me too. Maybe I'll ask Brett tomorrow and see if he's got any news. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I hope Randy's doing okay. Jennifer Bates, Sugar John, you received the Hennessy from Chinese human traffickers. Thank you for putting sarcasm in the parentheses because it might have that sarcasm might have just blown right over my head. I'm really skipping down real quick here. Big Hook just on the way out with some knowledge here says Big Hook says remember that the Iran strike is a distraction from all the other awful stuff in the works, and I agree. That big beautiful Bill bullshit he is going to try to sneak past us. Keep your eye on the ball. Protest loud. Thank you. And with that, I think we should end the show because that sums it up beautifully. As always, from Big Hook. Diane Russell, glad I was able to be here for. Thank you, Diane. I'm glad you made it. Sandy Foles, only the mayor of Buffalo is being replaced. Our mayor is not till next year. That was Sandy voted today. Very, very proud of Sandy for getting out there and voting. Senator Carter, thank you, TJ. Keep up the resistance. All right, guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I better get out of here. We're at 2 hours and 20 minutes. I really don't know how much longer I have on the battery. So today's Tuesday. That means tomorrow's Wednesday, and I'm doing 11 a.m.s just every day, Monday through Saturday. So we'll be back on 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'll leave it up to you guys to figure out what time zone you're in and go from there. Just Google it. It's easy to Google shit, to find out the time. Like if you're in a different time zone or a different part of the world, just Google it. Google will tell you everything. All right, guys. So that's it. You guys are awesome. You guys are beautiful. Thanks for making the goal to Michael McAndrews coming, bringing it on around, and closing us out with a $10 super chat. So thank you guys so much. We made the goal. You guys are awesome. Keeping the show growing, keeping us on our path to 6 million subscribers. Okay, we only have 3,888, but you got to start somewhere, right? So